America, and today we're going to be joined by Kent Helfrich, who's the CTO and President at GM Ventures. So thank you so much for joining us today. Really happy to have you here to talk about what you're going to be talking about at Move America and GM Ventures. So first of all, tell us a little bit about what you are going to be talking about at Move America, first of all, just to start us off.
All right, Nicole. Well, I'm really excited to come. And I'll be telling the story about how GM is investing in next-gen batteries that are going to lower EV costs. So I'm going to start at the beginning and talk about our vision of zero emissions, zero crashes, and zero congestion. And then I'm going to talk about the electrification and the software and data platforms that we've developed. Now, together, these scale electric and autonomous vehicles plus connected mobility products. And that's really interesting. But that story is pretty well known to people in the industry. So what I'd like to do then is really crack open the playbook and talk about open innovation and combining the best internal and external research and ideas, and really specifically zoning in on the series of investments and industry collaboration, partnerships, purchasing alliances, but really focus on the intersection of big companies and small companies and how to get their innovation connected into the industry as a whole. And this is really hard. And I'm going to share some lessons learned and best practices that we've developed, but it's really worth it because this collaborative approach is helping us accelerate our vision of zero crashes, zero emissions, and zero congestion.
So you mentioned that you're going to be talking about investment into battery tech. So how important do you think that battery tech is in the mobility industry at the moment? So obviously you've seen a key importance in putting your energies into it, and it's quite a big thing in the mobility industry right now. So how important do you think that investments like these into this industry, into that specific point, are?
So in the electrification of the automobile and making electric vehicles and electric services available, the battery cost is the key unknown for all of this, and it's going to really be a driver of adoption. So the thing that's really important to understand is we're in the early stages, and innovation is coming from all over the place. And small companies and universities and things that are just thought starters right now actually have the possibility of really impacting how far and how fast the cost reduction happens. And so this is a great opportunity for the companies that have new ideas. If they can connect with the big companies who are making the investments and find those partnerships which will really accelerate it, the sky's the limit. And this is really the moment. So it can't be overstated how important this is.
You mentioned the collaborative nature of big companies and small companies will excel innovation and progression. What is the challenges between these two? You mentioned that it's quite hard getting them to form partnerships and exchange ideas. So what is this challenge that you see in this?
Large companies have business models and business practices that have evolved over time, and they're really sort of self-referential. They refer to the business model as is. And those business models are being disrupted. So, for instance, inside of GM, we've created GM Ventures. Actually, it's been around since 2010. And this is a corporate venture capital group inside of GM. So it's been kind of actually very mature compared to other automotive OEM corporate venture capital arms. And we strategically invest in startup companies that are going to accelerate our vision of zero crashes, zero emissions, and zero congestion. Now, the most important thing isn't the investment, it's the relationship. And we bring, as Chief Technology Officer for GM, I have GM Ventures, and I also have responsibility for our global research and development organization. So when you're talking about ventures, I've got the best back office in the entire industry because I can bring in world experts on just about any technology we can think of. And we are able to take these small companies, understand what their idea is and what their value proposition is, and actually, apart from the investment, make their world fantastic. And we can connect the dots from idea and nascent technology to really big company and the legal and purchasing processes. There's a lot of stuff that you have to just understand that Established suppliers just know because they've been in the game for a long time. So for us to be able to intersect with these small companies, get their technology on firm footing, and then be their first and their most valuable customer, that's exactly what we're lined up for.
It's amazing. And what sort of things do you look for in these small companies? Like what sort of technologies at the moment are GM Ventures sort of keeping their eyes out for? What do you think are going to be the next big developments in the industry?
So first off, we've got offices in Detroit, which is kind of the ecosystem for the US, and Silicon Valley, where there's a lot of things happening. We have people in Canada and people in Israel. But we are geography agnostic. We will invest in a company wherever it is in the world that has an idea or a technology or a technique that can accelerate our vision of zero crashes, zero emission, and zero congestion. So, but we're looking across our entire enterprise, from electrification around motors and power electronics and batteries, to the digital enterprise. And we do things in finance and insurance and dealing with large data, connected customer, how do people intersect with our business and our products, and then finally autonomy. So having vehicles that can be self-driving and it can improve the driving experience for the times that you are an active driver yourself. So we're going across the entirety of our enterprise. So not just batteries. So we're looking for any of these great ideas anywhere in the world. And we will work with you, and we will ensure that you have the best opportunity for success working with us and also with other companies, because we want to make these startup companies fantastically successful. We want to be the first and best customer, but we don't intend to be the only customer.
And I know this is sort of like a really broad question, so I'm going to put you on the spot here. But so what do you think is, not necessarily just to do with GM Ventures, but what do you think the mobility industry has to do to take that next big step towards, you mentioned safer, greener, smarter? What, as a mobility industry as a whole, do you think that things will have to change in order to reach those goals?
Oh my!
Sorry,
that's a broad question,
yeah.
and the answer is a broad answer. It's going to be a lot of different things. What is amazing to me, and I've been in this industry. I've been in the automotive industry and mobility services industry for over 30 years, so a very long time. And I've seen things change, and it changes dramatically. And in the last 5 to 10 years, what I've seen is a willingness on the part of consumers, the people who trade their hard-earned money for mobility services, to actually change their mind from owners and operators of vehicles to participants in an ecosystem where the mobility is brought to them. And I think part of this transitional moment where we find ourselves right now is having the OEMs who've traditionally had their business models of selling vehicles, to owner operators, to really abstracting that back one level and talking about the services that go around this. Inside of General Motors, I see this happening literally on a daily basis, where we've built on our prior success, for example, on OnStar, which is a brand and a business inside of GM, where it's been a subscription service for safety and security for decades. And it's a very valued service, and it's something that we quite understand and have been able to, build on over time. We have a new service now actually called OnStar Guardian, where this actually comes with you off of the vehicle. And that's a perfect example of taking the known and generalizing it more to the new, and building a service that people can understand, because these mobility services are more than just moving a person or goods from point A to point B. It's taking care of all of their needs around that transit. And I see us doing that very well. So I think the next 10 years is going to be the pivotal moment in terms of this transition. And, I have to say, well, go ahead.
No, that's no, definitely. Like it's all those little bits that you don't think about, isn't it? That all come together, all pieced together to create something, so much bigger and better.
And if I could put my finger on the one thing that is going to be the transition, I would, and I don't believe there is. I think it's going to be a lot of small things, but the transition is already occurring, and it'll be very apparent in the rearview mirror. But as it's happening right now, it just feels like, new ideas and services that are finding traction. Some of them work, some of them don't, but we're in the midst of that, and it's really exciting. There's never been a better time to be in the mobility industry, and GM's a great place to be.
100%, and we're very excited to see what's coming in the next 1 or 2 years. And is this your first time at Move America this year?
It is for me, yes.
Oh, very excited. What are you excited about, and what do you think that the event will bring?
I think it will bring ideas in close proximity to each other. And when humans start talking about things that they are passionate about, and they're able to bounce ideas off of other people, newer and bigger and more productive ideas will result. And so I'm really looking forward to finding those new collaborative opportunities for GM to work with other companies, and for me to meet a whole new group of people. I can't wait.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. We're so happy to have chatted with you, and see you in Austin.
Sounds great. See you soon.